Good afternoon, everybody. So, since morning we have heard the D2C, the brands, we have heard the tech companies, the two pillars of internet commerce. I bring in the perspective of logistics or supply chain, which is the third pillar, not necessarily in the same order because unless your supply chain is sorted out and in the right direction, you would, in spite of having a very strong brand, using the best of technologies, not have the kind of experience you would want and not be able to grow at the speed at which you want to grow. Since I have 10 minutes available with me, I will try to go as fast as I can. Let's start with what was there in the past. How was 3PL maybe a decade back? 3PL a decade back was resistance to change. So when e-commerce started off in the early 2000s or the early 2010, there was a resistance to change. The logistics players would always look at being a B2B brick and mortar supply chain service provider, and they would always say, this is how we do it, and this is how it would work. There was a lot of resistance. There was a lot of legacy systems which came in. Technology adoption at that time was very limited. Although, yes, WMSs were there, but they were very limited, and they were more focused on the B2B side of it rather than the omnichannel or the D2C side of it. Worked in silos in all the operations, so there was not a very close coordination between various functions. So the 3PL would work in its own silos, the marketing would be working in its own silos. A lot of companies at that time tried to bring in their own operations, and even there the silos were not broken, they were working in silos. And 3PL was looked more from a storage perspective than a supply chain or an end-to-end integrated solution perspective. So this is the situation a decade back. The current situation, the way we see it today, okay, is we have more flexible to change. Customization has come in. The 3PLs are less saying, this is how we do it. We try and understand what the customer requirement is, because the requirement for the same product by two companies would be different, their focuses would be different, their priorities would be different, and unless you're not flexible to change and ready to adapt and customize, you would not be able to provide the right solutions to the customer. The 3PLs now go beyond storage. They look at a lot of end-to-end solutions and now also start acting as consultants to the customer by providing them a lot of information based on the systems they have evolved over a period of time. So today, we not only handle the product, but we are able to tell the customer a lot of information relating to their products, which helps them in their marketing or in their project planning. There is a lot of use of tech in the automation side of it, in the artificial intelligence side of it, in the machine learning side of it. All 3PL companies today, apart from being a logistics company, have to a great extent become a tech user. So tech plays an important role. Today, with the kind of demand on speed, unless you have the right WMS, which is integrated with the customer's OMS, and the WMS has proper machine learning and artificial intelligence built into him, your execution will still not be at the speed at which the customer expects. With quick commerce coming in, the customer's expectation is execution within 30 minutes. And unless you have that kind of intelligence built into your WMS and you have that kind of integration with the OMS of the customer, this experience would be a challenge. And the last most important thing is the supply chain visibility side of it. So the customer today is not happy with receiving information at the end of the day. He is interested in having the information on a minute basis between what's happening in the warehouse versus what their order-based systems are doing. And that kind of visibility, unless you're able to provide the customer, the experience is not complete. So if you see from a decade back to today, there's been a lot of changes. Most important, most of the changes have happened because e-commerce has evolved over the decade, or I would say retail has evolved over a decade. Earlier, we would have either offline or an online. As we have proceeded, and more so post-COVID, we have seen more and more offline companies going D2C and a lot of D2C brands going offline. So now the demand is omnichannel. It's no longer e-commerce fulfillment or a B2B fulfillment. Now, what is the market going to be demanding going forward? Speed is the most important part. As I said with quick commerce, and we heard it in the earlier panel too, the expectation is delivery within 30 minutes. And unless that kind of speed is built in through your systems, your people will not be able to consistently provide the same. So although India always had the labor arbitrage advantage, the need for intelligent system now is to stand up to the speed expectations from the customer side of it. Flexibility, as I said, it's not sufficient to say, okay, this is how I do it for customer X. I can do the same for you. Whenever we approach a new customer, the solution team goes in and tries to understand what the customer does, what are their products, what are the demands, what are the pain points, and then design a solution. Yes, we may use some best practices from some other customer, but at the end of the day, the solutions are designed based on what the customer product demands. Accuracy plays an important part now. At one time, we would say 95% accuracy, gone are the days. Most contracts now are with a 99.25, 99.5% accuracy. That's the kind of accuracy the customer demands. And unless your WMS and your processes are not designed to that end, the 3PL is going to have surprises and the customer is not going to be very happy. And at the end of the day, an integrated solution, the customer doesn't want to have a separate B2B side and a provider and a separate e-commerce provider under a single roof in the most optimized manner. He wants to have a solution where the entire fulfillment is done by one service provider through one technology, handling each part of his business in the right way. So, what are the challenges the brands are facing today? Cost pressure. So a lot of technology comes at a cost, and managing a balance between the cost versus the experience is becoming more and more difficult. So nothing comes free of cost, but optimizing the cost becomes an important part of the business, and that is where the pressures start coming in. How do you optimize it? Don't forget, in our model, it is an earning model, as we talked about at the beginning of the day. We have two models, the earning model and the revenue model. And we, being a public company listed on the Dubai financial market with a 40 years, earning plays an important role. Visibility is the biggest challenge further. How do you bring in visibility real time? So today, moment a product is sold in a store where the rentals are running into thousands of dollars, the customer doesn't want to store his product in the store. He wants to have minimum product quantity in the store so that as the products are stored in the store, the visibility is there to the warehouse, and the warehouse is fulfilling it real time and moving it back to the store. Tech adoption, we already talked about it, so I'll try and go a bit fast. And new skill adoption. So a lot of 3PL is run through people. Although automation and technology plays an important role, it requires people at top of it. And the people needs to be upgraded with their skill sets on an ongoing basis. What people did 2 years back is no longer relevant. They need to upgrade their skills on an ongoing basis and keep working on it. What will it take to deliver? Artificial intelligence, we all talked about it. I'm not going to go into it. Drones and robotics are now playing a lot of important role. At the end of it, I'll try and show a few examples of how we are doing it in our fulfillment and last mile. Sustainability is another important key feature. As we proceed, a lot of customers are questioning, saying, how sustainable is your operation? How is your carbon footprints? And bringing in sustainability in our operation is now a very key factor in our future. And workforce transformation, as I said, empowering the people and skill upgradation is an ongoing feature. What are the game changers going to be? One example that we have used in India today is package trackers. In D2C, a lot of times we have the experience where the customer comes back, I've received a product which I did not ask for, I've received something else. All our warehouses have package trackers which are real time. The products go through a real time videoing of the product packaging, and if there is any complaint on a forward or on a return, within a matter of seconds, we can check what was exactly packed or received. Return to origin with returns in D2C, that plays an important role, particularly in the apparel industry, and we have been working closely with the apparel industry where the returns are reprocessed and brought back into the fulfillment. We have been able to take our returns ratio from almost 25-30% to 12% for our customers. In the morning, somebody talked about Middle East being the future for e-commerce, for D2C. And yes, today, Middle East and particularly UAE and Saudi is going to play an important role, the new tipping point, the new market after the US. Why? Simply because the social media penetration and the mobile penetration in the Middle East is better than in the US, and the per capita income is almost at where US has the per capita income, not far away. So these are market, and the most important thing for D2C brands over here, Middle East, 45% of e-commerce sales comes in from cross-border. Domestic sales is only 55%. So there's a lot of opportunity. Today there are companies from China, Turkey, US, which does huge businesses in the Middle East because of the new technology adoption in the Middle East and the per capita income available. This is Aramex in the Middle East, in GCC and MENA, just to show we are a company listed on the Dubai financial market, headquartered in Dubai, and we'll be more than happy if any customers have any requirements in the Middle East and the North African markets to work with them. We have a stall outside. We can meet up with you and talk with you over there. Can we play the last AV? I'm done. Can we play the AV? So if anybody has any questions about what we do and if we can help you in any way in your D2C business side of it, we would be more than happy to talk to you. We have a stall outside, and my team and myself will be more than happy to talk. Thank you.